Namaskar. This is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. The monthly bulletin of the Reserve Bank for June 2021 carries an article titled State of the Economy. The article is written by the senior most officers of the Reserve Bank of India, including its Deputy Governor, eminent economist Dr. Michael Patra. The RBI has already clarified that this article does not reflect the official views of the RBI, but then, as we said, it has been written by the senior most officers of the bank. The tone and tenor of the contents of the article are reflected in the various headlines that the newspapers carry today. One newspaper says that RBI predicts a glorious summer for the Indian economy. Yet another says that the economic recovery is seeing a phoenix-like rise in India. A third newspaper says that India is very close to attaining positive growth. And yet another says that shifts in the macroeconomic landscape have brightened the growth outlook for the Indian economy. All these titles in the newspapers show a positive outlook to the Indian economy as suggested and written by these authors, the senior officer of the Reserve Bank of India. Let's see what are the main contents or highlights of the article on the state of the economy. It says that the economy is out of the pandemic crisis and that recovery is getting stronger in India. It then says that the vaccination drive has brought new optimism in the economy and the worst is behind us, according to these authors, unless there is another COVID wave coming in. Economic recovery, according to them, is going to gain traction such that the winter of discontent will be replaced by a glorious summer. That's what the article says. Further, it says that India's GDP growth is now in striking distance of a positive growth. We have, of course, witnessed a contraction of the economy so far, but it now says that we are on the verge of attaining positive growth rate. The article authors then say that if growth sustains itself, then space will open up for the government to initiate further policy measures for giving better momentum to India's growth, thus suggesting that perhaps if growth sustains the way it is according to them, some kind of support by way of stimulus can come in. They then say that domestic trading has shot up, it is growing at a brisk pace, and for that, they refer to the record number of e-way bills under GST which are being issued. According to them, recovery in the economy is no longer based on fleeting festival demand, as they call it. Domestic spending, according to them, is also normalizing at a rapid pace, suggesting that consumer spending has come back to normal levels. They therefore say that consumer confidence is regaining its groove in India, and they hope that the confidence will sustain itself. The article further says that business activity in India is now regenerating itself based on what they call an unlocking mood. More and more businesses, they think, have now come back into an unlock mood and that it is getting into a normal situation. The authors then note that labor market conditions in the country have improved, they are only getting better, and they expect more jobs to be created. As far as next year's GDP estimates are concerned, GDP estimates for financial year 21-22 are concerned, they very clearly say that they will benefit from statistical support which is being provided. In other words, because FY 2020 has witnessed a contraction in the economy on a year-to-year basis, the growth in FY 21-22 is going to look much better. And they also say that it is going to be driven by consumption. The authors expect that consumption will come back to such normal levels, consumer confidence will come back to such strong levels that in financial year 21-22, growth will be driven by consumption. And finally, they say that recovery in India is likely to be V-shaped. We really do not know why the government authorities, including the RBI, are so caught up with this idea of a V-shaped recovery, even though few of us agree that recovery has not been V-shaped at all. Most of us would say it has been K-shaped, one section recovering, the other not. If you look at the entire tenor of the contents, the way it has been penned out, it's very clear that some kind of a positive outlook is being suggested by the authors. In fact, it's a very positive outlook looking article that they published, and the emphasis is on that confidence is coming back, spending is coming back, business activity is coming back, and thus growth is coming back. To us, there is something very conspicuously absent here, and which is the Reserve Bank governor has always said that there is uncertainty around and that the things keep changing so fast that because of that dynamism of uncertainty, it's extremely difficult to predict what is going to be the condition of the economy. Here, we think that the authors are overlooking the prevailing uncertainty in the economy, and they're also overlooking certain relevant parameters that we think are important when you write an article, State of the Economy. But then, this is an article written by senior officers of the Reserve Bank and not officers of the Ministry of Finance. And therefore, there is a very clear attempt to make it a balanced view. And for doing that, they give certain warnings, they give certain caveats. The article says very clearly that we need to kickstart investments in the economy to make growth durable and sustainable. If we want a durable turnaround, if we want to have the growth trajectory to be sustainable, then they very clearly say that investments need to be kickstarted. The fact is that investments in India are languishing and they are at a multi-year low, and thus the emphasis on investments being kickstarted. Connected to that is the fact, as they say, there is lots of idle cash sitting on the balance sheets of corporates and banks. And that idle cash needs to find its way into productive investments, productive sectors, and real investments in the economy need to take off. A very strong emphasis on investments to be kickstarted by the authors of this article. And further, they say that stress in the financial sector is likely to intensify. And it will intensify because the present camouflage which has been provided by the moratorium, by asset reclassification being postponed because of the Supreme Court order, and by restructuring of loans, that camouflage, which is hiding the true picture of the financial sector, once it goes away, they very clearly say that stress in the sector is bound to go up. It will impact the banking and financial sector both. So these are the caveats that have come from the authors of this article. The primary one being investments need to take off, and we certainly agree with them. The larger picture, according to us, is that it is too early to predict or say or even estimate that some kind of a durable and sustainable recovery is either setting in or is on the cards. Let's watch the growth of the economy for at least 2 quarters. We are still in a situation where the core sector growth has been showing negative territory. Manufacturing sector growth shows an erratic trajectory, and the only sector which shows some kind of a positive trajectory has been the service sector. Exports keep dipping month after month. With this situation, with these kind of important macros being either uncertain, skittish, or on the negative territory, it's too early, according to us, to say that some kind of a durable or sustainable growth has set in or is likely to set in. We would wait for at least 2 quarters of consistent growth before we were to say so. The fact also is that recovery that we are seeing at the moment in some form or the other is going to lose steam unless jobs take off, unless consumer demand sets in a big way, unless investments take off, unless government spending is ramped up in a large way, and bank lending takes off, which today is again at a very low figure. Unless all this doesn't take place, according to us, recovery is not going to be durable, and whatever signs of recovery that we are seeing at present will certainly lose momentum. And finally, we would of course say recovery in India has not been V-shaped. I do not know why is the government so seized with this idea of saying that it is a V-shaped recovery. It has not been so, because a V-shaped recovery would mean a rapid fall in growth and a rapid upsurge in growth. That's not taken place in India, and we think that we should drop this very idea instead of taking it up again and again that India is seeing some kind of V-shaped recovery. To us, it is a moment of wait and watch. To us, it is time to wait patiently before we say that some kind of a recovery of a durable nature has set in. Any temporary recovery only adds to the uncertainty that the economy is facing. Until that doesn't go, it would be too early to predict there's some kind of a glorious summer in the offing for the Indian economy. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.